Welcome back to Buff Connect. This week, we take a look at two ambitious African-American filmmakers directing movies that tell the untold tales of the African-American experience.
We're going to be talking to Drew and Jerry out of Portland, Oregon. They are filmmakers, and they're making a film called Buffalo Soldiers. We're going to be talking about that tonight. I'm a little intimidated. I won't lie. Filmmakers are cool, and writers are cool, and actors are cool, and I really want to be cool. Tonight, our guests tonight, Drew and Jerry, both filmmakers out of Portland, Oregon. Is that where you guys are at?
I'm representing Vancouver.
Vancouver and
You represent
Portland.
Vancouver, I represent Portland.
Shout out Vancouver.
Right over the water. Right over the water.
Right over the water. So you, both filmmakers that made a film called Buffalo Soldiers. And we're going to be talking about that a little bit. Actually, why don't we just start there? You guys want to tell me like what the project's about, what the film's about?
Sure. So the Buffalo Soldiers was an all-black regiment created by Congress after the Civil War in 1866. They fought in the Indian Wars. They were actually veterans of the Indian Wars.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they pretty much helped clear up the western frontier for people to be able to migrate here to the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
During that time, they had right after the Civil War, they opened up the Oregon Territory, right? And so they were giving away 1 square mile of land for every white male that would travel across the country. And at the same time, they give away 2 square miles of land if you had a family.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they had these exclusion laws where people of color couldn't live here.
But they could make the way for everybody else to come and live here. Yeah.
Exactly. But the Buffalo Soldiers helped clear up the frontier. They came out and helped lay down the foundation. They helped clear up some of the national parks. Sustain the national parks.
Yeah.
Well, it's a missing piece of American history, right? Not just African American history, but all of our history. And the most people know about the Buffalo Soldiers is the Bob Marley song.
I know,
right?
that's me. Are both of you interested in history? Like, in sort of, by the way, I'm at least aware that most history is not a people's history, right? Most history is what, whoever the victors are, they're the ones that tell the history, right? And put it together, whatever they want the story or the narrative to be, all the way through. But did you grow up kind of interested in digging on that and finding out what sort of the truth is or what history is? And
Drew and I come from 2 different places.
Yeah.
We got 2 different backgrounds. We end up coming together as brothers on this project to collaborate.
Yeah.
And make it meaningful. So my story is a little bit different from his, and he has his passions too.
Yeah.
But I can say that I grew up mostly in Atlanta, Georgia, and in Georgia we had Black history. We had Black history class.
Yeah.
I didn't hear hardly anything about the Buffalo Soldiers.
Yeah.
And I wasn't really into history, to be specific. To be honest, it wasn't until I became a filmmaker.
What were you into growing up?
Sports.
Yeah.
Playing ball, hooping.
Yeah.
Chasing after the women. They went on for a long time.
Right.
They went on for a long time until I couldn't get them. I couldn't get them like I want to anymore. So when it slowed down,
I know what I need to do. I'll become an actor.
Yeah.
And then
too. I became an actor. So my creative passions right now is something new to me over the past decade.
Yeah.
So I just been experimenting with that. And then Drew and I, he reached out to me when he was, passionate about the film.
Yeah.
And I was learning more about the history.
Yeah.
Black history, especially here in the Pacific Northwest, the very limited pieces we have, And so here we are.
Yeah. What's your background?
So I moved here from Denver in 2017, and I was making music videos and web commercials.
So you're doing filmmaking for a long time.
Yeah, but I hadn't made a feature and wanted to definitely evolve in my career.
Yeah.
When I came out here, I wanted to get more involved in the film community, so I volunteered at the Langston Hughes Foundation in Seattle,
cool,
and they were doing a Juneteenth celebration. And I brought my family, my daughters and my wife with me. It was an opportunity for them to see the community and get involved with the community. And while we was there, I was catching some footage, and my daughter and wife checked out the festival, and I heard my daughter say, "Ooh, horsies." And I looked up and I seen these guys galloping up the hill on horseback, dressed in Union
like the
garments.
uniforms,
Yeah,
right?
it
They
was
got
like
the gray
straight out of
coming up, like
history.
yeah.
And she asked me, who are they? And I had forgot who they were myself.
Yeah.
And then it clicked to me that, you know, these are the Buffalo Soldiers.
No way.
And that's when I knew that we all needed to know this.
Now, did you hear about him as an actor, and that's how you guys connected?
Yeah, actually, so I was living in Tacoma, and I moved down to Vancouver because actually all the crew is across the water in Portland. I had people were telling me about this guy, that I should contact this guy to help me on the film.
Yeah.
And I eventually did. I seen his commercial and was like, yeah.
What was the commercial that you saw?
It was a Swiffer commercial.
Yeah, the Swiffer.
No way.
Yeah.
The Swiffer wet jet with me and my son. It was a big grade A national piece that had billboards and stuff.
Well, that's good.
And not just
that's
that.
good money, a national commercial. Like,
Oh man, it was amazing.
Yeah,
I need
dude.
more. I need
yeah,
more.
yeah.
Not just that, he had done a film also before, right? And you don't meet a lot of people that have done a whole film, right?
Yeah.
It's a hard process, and with him having that background, wanting to make opportunities for African Americans in the field, right? I definitely gravitated towards wanting Jerry to come and help on the project.
Yeah. What's the filmmaking scene? Is it like a family, like in the Northwest, like Portland and everything? Like, do you know each other in the business? And
it's a small community. With starting this project, I knew that I had to build a community around the project, right?
Yeah.
This is not just, even though we're producing the film, directing the film, it's not our film, it's American history film. So, bringing everybody together on the film and building the community is what we wanted to do.
You know, putting a team together, you had to build a team around the project.
Yeah.
And especially if you want a project that's going to be diverse, inclusive, accessible.
Yeah.
And and opportunities for everybody. So
Yeah.
That's usually a challenge. Here. But there has been some overlap too with Seattle and Portland. you know. So we get these projects, and I go audition with a lot of people from up here in Seattle.
Okay.
But they see me up here too when they have some of the bigger projects.
Now you're acting as well, but I mean, in this particular case, is filmmaking. I mean, you're like, what roles did you guys play? The director, producer?
We're co-directors on the project. I'm producing the project, the filmmaker behind the project.
Yeah. All right. Well, more
is pulling together a crew of people from all over, not just the crew itself, but doing the research, exercising the due diligence, learning the story, especially if you're doing history, learning the history, and being precise because people watching. There's a lot that goes into that versus sound studio going and making a commercial.
Just going in.
There's a lot going into that too, but that's a turnover in like 2 days. Like a documentary on average take 5 to 7 years. So project management is being diligent, pushing the project, pushing on, moving forward. That's what Drew's been doing as primary producer of the documentary. So,
what would you say your styles are as directors? Then working with people and putting stuff together, like.
So I mostly do behind. Offset, and Jerry does a lot of the onset type of work.
Okay.
So I put all the budget, the people together, location. Jerry runs the camera, you know what I mean, talks to the interviews mostly.
Like where it's been rough, like trying to make this happen.
Fundraising has been rough, right? Getting people to see the vision at first on, what it could be. We came a long way, and it started back in June of last year, right? And we've been able to pull a great community together, but it hasn't been easy at first, right?
What do you guys do when you get a little stressed out about everything you're putting together?
I mean, basically, he gets stressed, he dump it on me. Hey man, this and this. I get stressed, I dump it on him. So I guess we kind of help each other out.
Yeah.
The sense I get from both of you, and I could be totally wrong,
The challenges are always there.
Yeah.
That you're just used to the challenges.
Yeah, you just
like
work
I think
around
that's
them
the sense.
or knock them down or figure them out. It's problem solving the whole time.
Yeah.
Well, there was times where, I thought it was a dumb idea, right, to make a documentary. I didn't know how I was gonna actually pull it together, right? It was hard to, to start something from nothing, right?
Yeah. You start thinking about at all what you might do next?
Oh, yes, definitely.
Yeah.
I want to continue on this path and telling these untold African American stories so that we all know.
Yeah.
Right? There's a lot of them that we are unfamiliar with and that we should know.
Yeah.
So the next one is going to be Black Hollywood.
Yeah. Yes.
1930.
1930s?
Minstrel. Black Hollywood.
Yeah.
What do you think? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, awesome.